I plan my new book and start jotting down the important themes and plots of my new dark romance book. It's going to be an erotica with the male lead as the head of the most powerful mafia organization in the world. Though I am still not confident about the female lead. Should I make her like myself? I mean, I have never written a character who is just like me because it never really occurred to me or it never spoke to me that way. But for some reasons this time I want to write the female lead with my character traits, profession, personality and everything which makes me, me. I guess that will be a great idea. I start by typing down the character descriptions on my laptop. It's important to keep every little detail about the character's personality in mind before writing about them because once I start, I will have to write what that character makes me write. It's strange if I say it aloud to someone but a writer will understand what I am trying to say. When you write a book, it's not exactly you who writes it, it's the character themselves who makes you write it. That's why having the perfect image of the character in your mind is very important or else you will make mistakes without realizing and that will mess up everything. Once I am done with the description, I FaceTime Achel to discuss the plot and jot it down. She picks up almost immediately and answers in a very enthusiastic voice. HII bestie. Her cheerful face comes into view as she smiles wide at me. Pale skin, pink plump lips, big siren eyes, blonde hair and cute spectacles to elevate her look. With all this, she looks nothing other than a freaking goddess. Rachel is a very beautiful girl inside out but her mouth won't let you believe it. She speaks whatever comes to her mind and won't think twice. On the other hand, I can't say anything which according to me can hurt someone. We are besties because we complement each other. If there is something I feel hesitant to say to someone, thinking it might hurt them, she will say it on their face. She is the blonde to my brunette. Hey, baby. I throw her a virtual kiss. You didn't call me all day yesterday so why now? What do you have to say, huh? She feigns anger and I chuckle. Stop being dramatic, God. How do I even handle you? I say dramatically. You handle me? Sure. Keep dreaming. Oh, come on. Why will I dream of you when I can literally dream about the hottest guy in the world? I reply with a dreamy sigh. For God's sake, Amy, he is the age of your brother and more than a decade older to you, she reminds me. So, what? He isn't my brother and moreover I love older men? You are saying as if you can have him if you want. OFC, I can. I can literally seduce him and get him to do whatever I want you know. I confidently say and flip my hair. How delulu can you be? Amelia be like, yes sir, Rack mocks me and I huff at her. Just wait till I go in front of him wearing a sexy dress and see how he himself comes to me. I mean come on, he is just a man. How long can he resist? That's true but what you need to remember is that he is Theo motherfucking James and not your neighbor across the hall. He can have. Don't you dare bring my neighbor in between all this. I cut her off immediately in frustration. After what happened last night, I am really infuriated with him. How dare he do that to me? Whoa. What's with your neighbor now? She asks in surprise. Her expressions turn suspicious of me and I realize how badly I messed up. Nothing about him. He doesn't matter. I just meant that don't bring anyone in a conversation where the father of my future kids is being talked about, I reply, trying to cover up the mess and she just rolls her eyes in response. How many fathers of your future kids do you have? Theo, Chris, then that footballer, what was his name again? Yeah, James. You are such a hoe, she makes a cringed face as if judging me and I start laughing at her. She soon joins me too and both of us laugh. Are you sure there is no tea about your neighbor which you wanna spill? She asks when we stop laughing. I bite my lips in hesitation and feel kinda guilty. I don't want to lie to her. We tell each other everything and we never keep secrets from each other. So, I decide to tell her everything, well at least almost everything, she should know about this situation. Okay, so, Here's the thing, I start and narrate the whole incident to her. She has been aware of my crush on Ekaksh even though she never met him. She knows everything about him and his sister and how she is married to my brother and now I want to marry him. What she didn't know was that he used to live here before I shifted and the reason behind me staying here is him. Excuse me. Bitch, I feel so betrayed right now. I literally begged you to come live with me but you went all, you know how my father and brother is. They would never allow me to stay anywhere else. Actually my brother's trustworthy friend also lives in this complex so he allowed me to stay here, and whatnot. She angrily starts to hit the screen. You are such a traitor. You betrayed me for a guy who threw the brownies you made. What kind of a fool is he? You know what, I am coming to visit you today. In fact, I am coming right now. Then I will show him. How dared he throw away the brownies you made, she angrily states and gets up from her bed. A smile makes its way on my lips at the thought of her visiting me. It's been more than 2 weeks since we met and it already feels like an eternity. Oh my God. You are such a sweetheart, aren't you? Now, come fast, I say and she nods. I see her putting on a white shirt over her black bralette and wearing a pair of denims before opening her hair and brushing them once. She picks up her car keys and leaves the room. She leaves the room, her phone facing the ceiling of her house and that's the only thing I can see. I keep the phone on the table, in the phone stand and start checking out the hardcover of my last book which I took from Joshua this morning. I have to get this approved by Rack too but I will have to wait till she gets here. This book is her favorite one among all the other 4 books I have written. If she loves this, I will give it to her. After all, this is the first hardcover copy of the book. It's a forbidden Professor X student romance which I wrote when I was in the last year of my university. I had a professor who was very hot and to be honest, had I wanted him, I could have easily had him but I didn't have guts to do anything and thus he became a past chapter of my story. But while I was writing this book, I made the female-led do everything I wanted and the way this book became a hit all across the world was really unexpected. I was very hesitant for it but Rachel hyped me up and made me finish writing it and finally she even approved of it. Mom, I am going to Amy's. I can be late too so don't wait for me. There are chances I can stay at her place all night so I will inform you accordingly. Bye-bye, I hear her voice and I see Aunt Isabella hugging her. Hey, Issy. I greet loudly from my side and Rack straightens the phone. Amelia, love. How are you? It's been so many days since we've met. I miss you, honey. She takes the phone away from Rack and starts walking around the house while talking to me. I miss you too. You know what, I will visit you soon. Make my favorite pancakes and pasta when I come there, okay? Done. I will also teach you a new cookie recipe. You are absolutely gonna love it. I am looking forward to it now. Stop you guys. I am getting late. Rack takes her phone away from her and kisses her on her cheeks before leaving. I chuckle at the two and start examining the hardcover again as Rachel starts driving. FaceTime is still going on but none of us speaks anything. Rachel is busy driving while I am checking the book. I get up from my seat and walk towards the refrigerator to get a bottle of water and the fruit salad I kept in it in the morning to cool down. I come back to my seat and mix the salad once before eating it. It actually tastes nice. Once I am done eating, I do some other chores and arrange everything for a girl's day in. I take out 2 pairs of night suits, each for me and Rack. I arrange the home theater and keep the comforters, quilts and pillows there. Soon, the doorbell rings and I run towards it to open it. Rachel stands outside and engulfs me in a bear hug as soon as I open the door. I hug her back with equal force and we both squeal happily. Finally. After 2 fucking weeks, she screams loudly. I know, right? I scream louder and we both burst out laughing. We get inside my penthouse and I close the door, trying very hard not to look at the door in front of me. I close my door behind me and walk behind Rack as she gets in and straight away jumps on the couch. Fuck. This place is so cozy. Help me convince my dad to get me a penthouse here. I am really done. She exclaims, roaming her eyes around the place. Let some tears drop down your eyes and see the magic. I give her the tip and she smirks. Forget it. Mom won't allow me yet, and to be honest, I am not ready to move out of my place. Anyways, let's gossip. I have a lot to tell you. I grin from ear to ear at her words and say, go and freshen up till I bring some snacks. And with that I run towards the kitchen to get snacks and juice for us. Today is going to be so much fun and I really deserve it after these hectic last few days. I make my way to my room with the snacks and juice and keep it on the desk beside my bed. Rak comes out of the washroom and jumps on the bed immediately. I join her too and turn off the lights to create the perfect vibe. What do you want to talk about? I ask her as I pick up a packet of chips and tear them before taking one of the chips and munching it down. How about the neighbor of yours? What are you going to do about him? What will I do about him? He has made it clear that he doesn't want me around himself, so what can I do about it? I simply shrug at her words. Don't tell me you actually are going to stay away from him. I mean, I have no other option. Yeah, sure. Tell me then, what should I do? Seduce him. Remember, he is a man. How long can he resist? Rak suggests and a chuckle escapes my lips. Bitch, I am serious. You know, it sounds and looks hot only in books and delusions. In reality, it's not possible. I state the obvious. Shut the fuck up. You are just scared to do it, nothing else. I am not scared. And you know, even if I try, he will literally kill me. He keeps warning me every now and then to stay away from him as if I would eat him alive if he lets me come near himself. He is a tough meat. But don't worry, we will do something about him too. By the way, do you know? Janie hooked up with our boss to get a raise, but his wife got to know about it and she got her fired, Rak exclaims excitedly. Janie, the junior lawyer? I ask her and she nods. What a bitch. Good thing she got fired. Their MMS went viral in the whole firm. My eyes widened in shock before both of us burst out laughing. Rachel is a lawyer in one of the best law firms in New York. She joined last year itself and is working under one of the best lawyers and is doing a great job. I am so proud of her. After that, both of us stop gossiping because it was too much tea for a day and decide to take a nap for some time. We click a picture before sleeping and post it on Instagram with the caption, "My personal slut." After 2 good hours of sleep, we go to the home theater room and watch 50 Shades of Grey and drool over Christian Grey while cursing Anastasia every now and then for being so lucky. I mean, come on, all of us deserve a life like hers, don't we? We are almost at the end of the movie when my doorbell rings. I ignore it for the first time, but it rings again and I go to open it. In a hurry, I don't peep through the peephole and directly open the door only to see the most unexpected sight in front of me. Akaksh stands in all his mercy with his hands in pockets and the tall figure almost hovering over me. His 6'2" height is way too huge in front of my little 5'5". I am not short, but he is incredibly tall. It should be illegal, you know. Are you listening to me or have you turned deaf? His words bring me out of my daze and I stare at him. Are you here? What were you saying? I ask him, trying to compose myself. Don't melt, Amelia. Remember what happened yesterday. I came to inform you that tomorrow Adya and your brother are hosting a housewarming party and she is calling to invite you, but you are not picking up her phone. Kindly pick up the calls when you get them, cause I am not your personal assistant to assist you with it, he mocks me sarcastically and I look down. Why can I not come up with a comeback when I need it the most? Arg. So, he is the neighbor who threw away your brownies. I hear Raka's voice and I turn around to find her beside me. She stares at Akaksh while he just gives her one look and turns his eyes back to me. Hello, mister. I am talking to you. Rachel snaps her fingers in front of his face, but he keeps his eyes on me, staring into my soul as if he wants to read me right at the moment. Looks like your neighbor is deaf, baby. Let's go inside and enjoy our movie, Rack says and wraps her arm around mine, trying to turn me around but I cannot move due to the intensity of his stare. What did you say? He finally speaks. I said you are deaf. Rack taunts him. I mean, what did you refer to her as, my baby? Do you have a problem with that? Baby, huh? He waits after saying it as if tasting the word on his lips and without any warning, I feel my cheeks heating up. Yes. And by the way, who the hell do you think you are, huh? How dare you throw away the brownies she made for you? She never bakes for anyone but she did for you and you did what? Throw them away. Do you have any shame, Lay? Rack, sweetheart, relax. Leave it. Let's go inside. I cut her off before she goes all Wonder Woman on him and makes him angry. I look back at him one last time but before I can look back, I notice a glint in his eyes. See you soon, baby. He says and turns around to go back to his penthouse. I keep standing there like a blush-coated mess, trying to process his words. Was that a taunt? Did he just call you baby? Tell me I heard it wrong, Rachel shouts at the top of her as she shuts the door behind her and shakes my body by holding my arms. Tell me. I stand there like a statue in complete shock. My cheeks are covered in blush and my adrenaline level is higher than normal. My insides are fluttering with a giddy feeling I cannot express in words. Are you gonna say anything? Rachel's voice snaps me out of my daze and I look at her with a big grin. Yes, he called me baby. Can you believe it? Oh my God. I told you, the universe is giving me all the signs. I exclaim and hold her hand before jumping in excitement. She looks at me in bewilderment and stops me from jumping like a madwoman. I giggle in front of her and turn around to walk inside. I get on the couch and sip on the orange juice I poured for us in 2 sippers. It was a taunt, you know, Rack states as she takes a seat beside me and picks up an apple from the fruit bowl. Yeah, sure. Come on, stop pretending as if you don't know. Stop, I whine like a child and continue, let me live in my delusions. At least they are making me happy, I state and she laughs it off. By the way, hot choice, she remarks and I smirk before immediately concealing it and looking at her with raised eyebrows. Don't even think about my man, I warn her and point my finger towards her. She holds my finger and twists it, getting a loud scream out of me before throwing one of the grapes from the fruit bowl in my mouth. You can chill? I am not interested in anyone other than the owner of my law firm. Bitch is 36 and hot as fuck, she closes her eyes and leans down on the couch, thinking about the man. And you call me delusional? At least my guy lives across the hallway and I get to talk to him every now and then. Your man doesn't even bat an eye at you, I taunt her and flip my hair before stuffing 2 grapes in her mouth. She looks at me with an ugly scowl on her face and I simply smile at her in return. Oh please. He literally said, Rachel Frost, come to my office with the case study papers on Monday, yesterday. Trust me, he wants me as bad as I do. He won't show it but I know it. I am going to use this Monday in the best way possible and will give you some good news. She smirks my way and I roll my eyes at her. Slut. As if you aren't one, yeah. I switch on the television and we surf through the channels before settling on the one which is playing Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Both of us are big Potter heads and since the movie has started only a few minutes back, we start binging it. The Triwizard tournament has started and everyone is preparing themselves for it. To be honest, this movie is not my personal favorite from the series but I love watching it just for Cedric Diggory. I mean, Robert Pattinson stayed the entire house down with his role. He is literally the IT guy of the school from whom no one can take their eyes off. Harry cannot stand a chance in front of him and let's just not talk about Ron. No offense to anyone but I find Ron Weasley ugly. I still can't believe how Hermione chose him. Like I understand sis you don't have that in you to ban yourself a Draco Daddy Malfoy but at least you could have adjusted yourself on a Harry instead of lowering your standards and settling for that Ron guy. You know, I would let Tom Riddle slide into me anytime, anywhere. Like he can literally treat me like a slut and I won't say shit. Rack blurts out in the middle of the movie and a chuckle escapes my lips. For real, bitch is so hot. Though I'd prefer Draco Malfoy more. He can literally ask me to suck on his cock and I will, without any objection, I remark and munch on the chips kept on the table. We are sluts for a reason, I agree. We enjoy the movie and don't remember when sleep overtakes us and we retire on the sofa itself. I look outside the window of my car as we move past the buildings and skyscrapers of New York. We are heading towards the office of a renowned director who wants to sign a contract with me for my book. He wants to make it into a web series and today we have to close the deal. He has been approaching me for quite some time now and finally when I met him last month, I felt he is going to do justice to the book by giving it life. His vision and directory skills are so APT that I am trusting him for this. We move past Times Square and head towards the head office of the director. After about 10 minutes, we reach the office and I get out of the car, look at the tall building in front of me where the head offices of some of the most renowned personalities are located. I make my way inside the building and greet the guards standing on the door before walking towards the reception. The receptionist smiles at me and wishes me good morning and I return her gesture sweetly. How may I help you, ma'am? She asks. Can you please tell me on which floor is the office of Mr. Adam Burke? Ma'am, do you have an appointment? Yes, 1 second. I open my phone and show her the appointment message from him. She checks it and passes my phone back to me. His office is the 8th office from the right on the 38th floor. Do you want me to send someone with you for assistance? She offers with a warm smile. Oh no. It's all right, I'll go by myself. Thank you for the help. I warmly deny her and turn around before walking to the elevator. I take out my phone and check the time. I am still almost 15 minutes early, which is a good sign. I keep my phone back in my purse and continue walking. My eyes widen as they fall on the elevator door, which is almost closed now. I start running towards it but in vain. Before I can even reach the lift, it has already closed and gone up. I sigh in frustration and move towards the other lift, which is out of order right now, unfortunately. Why God? Why me? Arg! This is so frustrating now. I press the button of the lift continuously but it keeps ascending instead of coming down. I check the time on my wristwatch and I only have 7 minutes left before the time I have been given to report. What have I ever done wrong to anyone? I whine in frustration. I look around to see if I can find the staircases when suddenly my eyes fall on the VIP elevator. It's reserved for the high-profile people here and to be honest it's not so hard for me to go take it, but given the fact that I am here on my own and not on my father's account, I won't be given an entry in it easily. But right now, I do not have a choice. If I wait longer, I will get late and that's something I don't like at all. I check my surroundings and leisurely amble towards it. I keep moving my eyes around just to be sure that no one is watching me till I finally reach the elevator. I inch my hand forward to press the button, but before I can do that the lift opens up in front of me and I immediately step inside and close the door by pressing the close button. Once I see the door close, I sigh in relief and press the button to the 38th floor. I then turn to my side and my eyes threaten to fall out of their sockets at the sight of the person in front of me. Perfunctorily my legs move backwards and I almost stumble on my steps before I can hold on to myself. Akaksh looks at me with an enthralled expression as if he cannot believe what he is seeing, but at the same time he is really enjoying it too. I bite my lips subconsciously and turn back to face the elevator door. I decide against starting a conversation with him because of the incident from that day at his penthouse. His words still hurt me somewhere and this time I am not going to be the big person and understand his point of view. I shift on my leg and bite on my lips to ease my nervousness, but nothing is helping right now. I try not to think about him and focus on something else, but what do I focus on? Theo James. Yes, perfect. Let me focus on my Theo. Oh. How hot he is. I can't believe he is 40 already. Like who can imagine such a hot as fuck person to be 40? He seriously can be my dad at this age. But the thing is, he is not my dad. Yeah, I still have a chance with him. Of course, I have. So, now you are ignoring me. I hear him say out of the blue and suddenly my hold on my bag increases. I don't react to it or say anything in return. He says he wants me to stay away from him, fine then, I am going to do exactly as he says. I shift back on my feet and stay mum. I see, he mumbles under his breath and I swear I would have missed it. Had this lift not been so silent. I still don't utter a word and just keep standing there, holding onto my bag. I take out my phone and start scrolling through my Instagram to pass my time and take my mind off him. Turn around, he orders firmly but I ignore it. I said something, Leah. Turn around, I pretend as if I cannot hear him and keep scrolling, randomly liking any fucking shit which appears on my feed. Suddenly, his hand wraps around my forearm and he turns me towards himself. I hold onto my phone tightly so it does not fall and break while my other hand involuntarily goes to his shoulders and I dig my nails in it for support. Let me see what was keeping you so busy that you didn't even hear what I was saying, he drawls and takes my phone. My expressions turn horrified and I try to remember what was the last thing I was watching but I fail to do so because he had my entire attention. His eyes widen and jaw ticks before he turns my phone screen towards me and saying that I am surprised would be an understatement. The picture of some half-naked model is open on my screen. It's clear that it's from a nude photoshoot seeing the way his V-line is clearly visible along with the curve of his body. So, this is what kept you entertained while you ignored me, huh? He grits out and I immediately snatch my phone away from him and keep it back in my purse. I don't need to explain myself to you. I mutter and turn back to face the door. He does not say another word and both of us stay quiet. I feel so embarrassed right now. He wasn't supposed to see that and to be honest I wasn't even checking that guy out, I was just randomly going through my feed and he happened to appear there. Stop the VIP elevator right now. I hear his voice from behind me and I immediately turn around to see him talking to someone on his phone. I look at him dumbstruck while he simply stares into my soul and speaks on his phone. Start it back again in 20 minutes. What the hell do you think you are doing? I whisper shout at him but he pays me no heed and cuts the call. The lift stops immediately and my expressions now turn horrified. What the hell is this man up to? Why will he do something like this? Call that person and ask him to start the lift again. I am getting late, I tell him calmly. I try not to freak out or yell at him but I seriously have to go. He has gone mad for doing whatever he is doing and I am just not gonna let him continue this. So, what was so fascinating about that model that made you ignore me? He asks, completely ignoring what I just said. I can't believe this man. I take a look at my wristwatch and see only 3 more minutes are left before the time I have been allotted. I snap around and start banging on the door of the lift. Is someone there? I yell, trying to catch the attention of anyone who might pass by the lift. Please, help me get out of here. The lift is stuck. Please someone help. I keep yelling and banging at the door to get someone's attention but I don't think it helps. The more you ignore me and keep yelling, the longer you are going to be stuck with me. I hear him speak and furiously I turn around towards him. I take 2 steps closer and glare at him. Have you lost your mind? What do you think you are doing? I ask. Without a word, he starts coming closer to me, step by step and subconsciously, I step back until my back finally touches the wall of the lift. He minimizes the distance between us and is now standing just inches away from me, tilting his head and studying me from head to toe. Unintendedly, I look down and check my outfit. I am wearing a black bodycon dress which stops above my knees, paired with my favorite pencil heel. With the other minimal accessories on my wrist, neck and ears and a thin black bow around my high ponytail, I know I am looking good. Who are you meeting? He questions as his fingers start trailing on my arms, making goosebumps erupt on my skin immediately. That's how he always starts. That's none of your concern, I reply to him, trying to act confident. Though I am not sure how long am I gonna be able to keep up with this act, seeing how his smell has already started to affect me and this closeness and his touch are not helping at all. But this time, I am not going to give in. Is that so? He keeps one of his hands beside me, on the wall while holding my waist with his other hand and pulls me closer. Being taken aback by his sudden movements, I take a hold onto his shoulders for support. That's none of my concern, huh? He husks out as he starts moving face closer to mine. Why are you doing this? I question him. I don't understand his behavior. One minute he asks me to stay away from himself and the other minute he does these things. Had it been someone else, I would have slapped him and left, but with him, I always lose myself and my control. Because you don't answer me at once, he whispers and moves his face towards my ears as his hand, which was pinned against the door, comes to my waist and starts dawdling over to my breast. Now, tell me, who are you going to meet? He asks again, slowly giving a lick to my earlobe. At Edinburgh, I somehow speak. As hard as I try to control myself and not give in, his actions have made it impossible for me. His hand is now just below my breasts and is not stopping there. The director? Yes. Why does he want to meet you? He questions and his face now lowers down to my jaws, then slowly to my throat before finally being buried in my neck. I tilt my head sideways and look above, giving him some space and letting him do whatever the fuck he wants because now I cannot think straight. My body surrenders to him as his hand grabs a hold of my breast over my dress. He does not squeeze it yet, but the feeling of his palm over my aroused nipples make me feel so wet. Answer, Leah. He is off, offering me to work with him on a new project. I reply to him, somehow still managing to form sentences properly. And about that guy on your phone, who is he? He questions before slowly moving his lips on my neck. He is a random model. I was randomly scrolling through my feed and he appeared before you took my phone. I hurriedly reply to him. Was he hot? He inhales in my neck and asks. I give it a thought, and to be honest, that man has a good body and a good face too, but was he hot? He was mid, I speak, and suddenly he presses my tit. His actions turn wild all of a sudden. He is more unpredictable than I ever imagined. Akaksh starts kissing and sucking on my neck while his hand squeezes my tits harshly. I try to hold myself together but fail miserably. Akaksh. I moan when he moves his face from the left side of my neck to the right side and his other hand grabs a hold on my other tit too. What are you doing to me, Leah? He asks against my neck, sucking on the curve between my throat and collarbone. His left hand harshly kneads my left tit before pinching my hardened bud, making my chest heave and core clench in pleasure. Why am I not liking the thought of you looking at some other man? He husks out and rubs himself against me. Please, I beg for more. He now increases the speed of his mouth on my neck and his hands on my tits, making them spill a little out of my dress. I wrap my hand around his neck and bring his face closer to myself if possible, trying to get whatever I can. Impulsively, I also rub myself against him and entangle my hand in his hair, pulling on them in need. He does not say another word but does not stop his actions either. He lowers his head from my neck to my collarbone and further down to my covered breast just above his hand. My craving body does not let me think straight, but I know if this continues, we are gonna end up in a very awkward situation. Aksh. My voice comes out as a mere whisper to which he simply hums in response before removing his hand and lowering his mouth down on my left tit. I detangle my hands from his hair and move it to his cheeks, holding onto them to stop him, but he grabs a hold of my hands and brings them behind his neck. Without another warning, he presses his lips against my hardened butts over my dress and a loud moan makes its way out of my throat. His hand comes to my waist, trailing down to my bare legs as he touches them while kissing and sucking on my covered tits. For all the right reasons, this feels so dirty and I cannot believe how I ended up in this position with him, but fuck off, this does not stop. I don't know how are we going to end up. I don't have it in me to stop him, but at the same time, for my own good, I cannot let him continue. Not until he stops pushing me away every now and then. His hand starts moving up under my dress, touching my inner thigh, and I feel my legs almost give in. I increase my hold on his shoulders for support and close my eyes in desperation. The sound of my heavy breath and his small hums of satisfaction every now and then fills the closed elevator. "Fucking angel," I hear him say and look down to find his eyes looking up at me while his mouth sucks on my other nipple now. His eyes are filled with lust and dirty desires and a promise of fulfilling it all, through me. I whimper when he purposefully bites on it, getting the reaction which he wants. I can't deny the arousal I am feeling from his touch. It doesn't feel real, and yet it's nothing but real. Before we can proceed with any of this, the lift starts, and that's when I finally get my senses back too. Gently, I push him away and stand straight and start to fix my dress hurriedly. I don't have the courage in me to make even an eye contact with him now, so I turn around and fix my almost spilled tits. I run a hand over my hair, trying to make them look normal and not disoriented in any way. The lift finally stops and the door starts to open up when I feel his breath just behind me as he holds my wrist in his hand. "Don't ignore me when I talk to you, or next time I won't ask someone to stop an elevator. I would do this wherever the fuck I find you, doesn't matter who sees us. Got it, angel?" He does not give me an option. "Now hurry up, aren't you getting late for your meeting?" I can feel him smirking behind me as he leaves my wrist. I sprint towards Adam's office, trying to forget what happened back in the elevator just now. None of it makes sense, and yet my entire body feels it to its very core. His lustful eyes, harsh hands over my inner thighs, and that heavenly mouth against my neck and tits are still not leaving their mark. My body remembers every single touch of him, and my mind remembers every little detail of the makeout. The more I want to avoid it and not think about it, the more it consumes me. I reach Adam's office and notice his assistant sitting in her cabin, working on her computer, right in front of the office. I take a deep breath to calm myself down and walk towards her with a smile on my lips, trying my best to act normal. "Excuse me," I say to grab her attention, and she looks at me. A frown appears on her face at my sight and she gets up from her seat. She is a young woman around my age, though a few years older to me. She is wearing a white formal shirt and a black pencil skirt with black high heels. Her hair is tied in a sleek high ponytail. The circle-framed spectacles go perfectly with her round face. She is not chubby and has soft features. All in all, she looks pretty yet a little strict right now. "Yes?" she asks, folding her arms over her chest. My smile falls and a confused expression takes over my face. "I came here to meet Director Adam Burke. Can you please inform him of my presence and assist me to his office?" I ask sweetly. "Amelia Williams?" she questions with a raised brow, and I nod. "Miss Williams, you were given an appointment at 10:30 and you are more than 20 minutes late." "Adam sir doesn't allow any late clients," she replies and sits back down on her chair before continuing her work. Rolling my eyes and trying not to scoff, I try to say, "Can you please call him once and tell me about my presence?" She lifts her gaze back to me and passes a sarcastic smile my way. "Miss Amelia, this is not your father's office where things will work out according to your preference." "Thank you." She lowers her head again and starts typing something on the computer. I am not someone to lose my temper over these little things, and I would rather pester the person to get things done, but right now, after what I have just dealt with, I am not thinking straight. Apart from that, what's with everyone taunting me with my father's name? "Fine. Don't do what I said," I say in anger and turn around, towards Adam's office. I make my way towards it and open the door without a knock and barge inside. Walking inside as if I own the office, I keep my bag on the table, making him aware of my already known presence. I look at the man sitting in front of me. I stare at his well-sculpted face. He has got a sharp jawline, soft hazel eyes, dark brown hair and a well-built body from what I can see from here. He leans in the chair and stares amusedly at me. His lips curl into a small smirk as he notices me from head to toe. I imagined him to be some old hag who has been in this business for a long time, but instead he is a handsome young man. From the looks, I can tell he is not a day more than 30, but well, looks can be deceiving too. Who knows, he might have gotten some surgeries to look young and handsome so that he can get girls to sleep with him. Am I so fascinating that you can't get your eyes off me, miss? His words snapped me out of my trance and I blinked twice before relaxing. Not more than someone I just made out with. I think but decide against saying it out loud. Before I can reply to him, we hear the door to his office open again and I look back to see his assistant rushing inside. She stares at me with horrified expressions before turning towards Adam. I am so sorry, Mr. Burke, for this inconvenience. I will escort her. She rambles hurriedly and bows down to him twice or thrice before turning back towards me. Her horrified expression suddenly turns strict as she glares at me. Ma'am, please come with me. She motions for me to follow her outside. It's okay, Clovia. Let her stay and please bring 2 cups of coffee for us. Adam instructs her and she smiles at him and leaves without another word. Black coffee for me, I purposefully tease her and she stops before throwing a sarcastic smile towards me and exits the office. I turn back towards Adam as he motions for me to take a seat in front of him. Without wasting another moment, I sit and relax a little. You are almost half an hour late, Miss Williams. So, if you don't have a good reason for this, I am scared we can't work together because I cannot tolerate latecomers at work, he states firmly and leans in front, keeping his elbows on the table and supporting his face on his hands. I take a deep breath in and sit formally in my chair. I was stuck in the elevator. You can check the CCTV footage. I was here before the given time but due to the elevator incident, I got late. I explain myself, clearly leaving behind the actual incident which happened. I didn't lie though. I was stuck in the elevator and about the other part, he does not have to know it. Are you sure that the elevator broke down and you were stuck in it, or were you busy doing some personal business? His eyes move to my neck and stay there for a second before coming back to meet mine. I immediately understand what he is pointing at even without seeing the hickey. Akaksh did suck on my neck and I am sure that has left the hickey there. Blush coats my cheeks immediately as I remember the incident, but I try to hold myself together. Don't worry about it, Mr. Burke. I got late because of the elevator and no personal business. I try to hide the hickey by keeping my palm over it. As I said, you can check the CCTV footage too. I see, he hums in understanding and takes out a file from the drawer next to him. So, Miss Williams, let's discuss some business, shall we? He forwards the file to me and I nod while taking it. I have not read your book till now, but the writer who came up to me with the idea told me the plot and storyline. After hearing it, I feel that it has a lot of scope, especially amongst the teenagers and youth, more particularly the female section. The steamy and forbidden romance, the angst and the other factors are the hot topics these days, and keeping it in mind, I feel that we have a lot of scope in this project. I nod at him and smile, not just that, but this is going to be something new and different too. I don't know if the writer explained this aspect or not, but apart from the steamy romance, this story also has a lot of suspense and thrill. As you will notice, the plot revolves around the life of a girl who is suddenly trapped inside her dream romance book, but what she did not expect was for the story to completely change. I start explaining it to him and he hums in understanding. She tries to figure out things happening around her, and that's when she will meet the protagonist. He was the lead in the book and in this situation too, but the girl who was the female lead is not the good girl she was in the book. In fact, she is completely opposite to it. A complete manipulative bitch. The girl who is stuck in the book has the power to get out of it and get in whenever she prefers. But as she learns more about the world, she keeps on getting stuck inside it until she no longer understands the difference between the real one and this one. For her, this world feels more real than the actual one. As the story escalates, she will have to make tough choices. Her love life with the male lead and the drama with some other people will get more messy with time. She will also start facing difficulties while switching between the two worlds until one day she is completely trapped inside the book. She has to figure out a way out of this whole fiasco, but she can't leave her love alone till I finish, and with the looks of it, I can say he is impressed with the idea. Interesting. He remarks and a smile makes its way to my lips. The door to the office unlocks and Clovia comes to us with 2 cups of coffee and serves us both. I sweetly smile at her, which she royally ignored, and leaves without saying a word. Don't mind her. She is very professional and hates humans. Adam jokes and I chuckle. She is a vibe, to be honest, I remark casually while sipping on my coffee. Indeed. His eyes gaze outside the glass walls of his office and I follow them. They have stuck on Clovia, who is working on the computer attentively. I look back and see the admiration in those eyes, which makes me smile. You like her? I ask and he immediately brings them back to me. He does not deny or accept anything, instead, he changes the topic. So, Miss Williams, how much should I pay you for this script and when would you like to start working on this project? He asks, keeping his cup back on the tray. I take a last sip of MH coffee and keep my cup on the tray too before answering. $60,000 is what I am going to charge you for this script. And about joining you for work, I'll work alongside you whenever you start the film. He smiles at my confidence and nods in approval. He motions his hand towards the file he gave me in the start, which I did not even open. I take it and flip through it to find the legal papers attached. These are the legal contract papers. Please sign them and then we can officially start after 3 weeks, he informs me, and I nod as I go through the clauses mentioned in it. Once I am satisfied with every detail, I sign the papers and forward the file to him, which he takes and keeps back in the drawer. He picks up his phone and sends a text to someone. After about 2 minutes, I receive a notification and I open it to see that $30,000 has been received in my bank account. I smile and forward my hand, which he gladly shakes. We are glad to have you on this project, Miss Williams, feelings mutual, Mr. Burke. Once we are done with all the formalities, I get up from my seat and smile at him. I should leave now. Thank you for your time, I say and bid him goodbye. As I walk out of the office, I make my way towards Clovia's desk and knock on it. Her eyes meet mine and she immediately gets up before glancing towards Adam's office once. Do you need any help, miss? She asks professionally. I chuckle and smile at her while shaking my head. Oh no. I just wanted to say that you look pretty, I genuinely compliment her. She opens her mouth to say something but fails, so I leave from there after blowing a kiss at her. As I near the elevator, the incident from earlier again clouds my memory and I bite my lips harshly, trying to avoid the thought. Inhaling a deep breath in, I reach out to press the button of the usual elevator instead of the VIP one and wait outside as it ascends up. After about a minute, the elevator's door opens and felicitously it's empty. I walk inside and close the door instantaneously before pressing the button to the ground floor. As the lift starts descending, I sigh in relaxation. My shoulders relax and I turn to face the mirror behind me. I take in my appearance in the mirror and something in my core tickles as I see my reflection in the mirror, staring back at me. I touch the red hickey marks on both sides of my neck and the sensations from his lips sucking on them returns. I press a little on the spot and my toes curl, remembering how he harshly used his lips and hands on me as if I was his property. I move closer to the mirror and that's when my gaze falls on my black dress over my tits. There is a patch on the fabric which I guess came after he sucked on my tits over my dress. I slowly lower down my fingers from my neck to my tits and touch the patch, which feels a little crumbled due to the sucking and biting. I just hope I did not embarrass myself in front of Clovia and Adam, and I wish they did not notice my dress that much. My buds harden under my touch and the sensations spread like venom in my veins. His eyes come into my view and in the mirror it feels like he is staring at me, challenging me to do things to myself. I stare back in the mirror with determination and confidence, but before I can do anything, the chiming of the lift distracts me and I immediately compose myself. I turn around and fix my dress before exiting the lift. I wrap the comforter around myself as no pace and gets up on the stage to kiss Elle. This scene is my personal favorite from the kissing booth because of the intensity and chemistry between them. The way Elle nervously falls in his arms as he approaches her and she chuckles and feels his muscles. She is currently ranting about how she has never kissed anyone before and just goes on and on about it while Noam keeps staring at her being amused by her rant and okay. Oh my god. It's the scene, guys. I am squealing already. Yes, yes, yes. And. Yes, 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 yes. Hey. He kissed her. Oh my god. He kissed her finally. I am dancing in my seat while squealing like a little teenage girl who just got kissed by the love of her life or something. But I cannot control, okay. It's not my fault that he is so hot and the way he kissed her is something which can only come true for me in my dreams. But fuck it. Let me focus right now. I wrap the comforter again around me after my happy dance and continue watching. Elle finally removes her blindfold as her eyes meet his and surprise is clearly visible on her face. That's a common reaction after all. It's not like every day you get kissed by your childhood crush. That too in front of the world. And after that eye contact they kiss again, this time being aware of everything. God, kill me right now if this scene is not written in my life. I seriously hate Netflix and books for feeding my delusions to the point where even when I am ignored, I feel like it's meant to be. Forget it. The movie continues and now it's the time when Noah stops his bike in front of her and asks her to sit on it with him. It's raining and he is gonna take her to his spot. Can you fucking believe it? He is finally taking her to his spots. No, please take me too. Do you not love me, baby? They are soaked in rain as the bike makes its way through it. Elle, like me being an overthinker, cannot stop thinking about her promise to Lee. It's getting too dangerous, lamp pulling over. Dangerous? Are you sure? No. He pulls in front of the gazebo in the middle of nowhere and takes her inside with him. God, I am already feeling butterflies in my stomach and the effect of watching it in my home theater in high volume hits differently. I take a sip of the soft drink I got for myself and continue watching when my phone suddenly vibrates. I keep my sipper away and pick up my phone to see a call from a random unknown number. I ignore it because right now my sole focus is on the movie going on in front of me. The phone vibrates again and this time frustratedly I pick it up and put it to my ear. Yes, who? I ask. Check the marks on your neck and you will know who. The hoarse voice comes from the other end and my eyes widen in surprise immediately. On the other side, in front of me, Elle runs towards Noah and kisses him, which gets an excited squeal out of me. The moaning sound fills the room while I clutch onto the blanket in excitement. What the hell are you watching this late at night? His voice distracts me and I suddenly remember his presence. I pick up the remote from beside me and quickly pause the movie. I loosen my hold on the comforter and close my eyes before taking a deep breath to calm myself down. My emotions are all over the place right now and blush coats my cheeks in embarrassment. I was watching a movie, I reply to him slowly. What type of movies do you watch? I just know he rolled his eyes on the other side of the phone while the mockery in his voice was crystal clear. That's none of your concern and stop judging me for my choices. I huff and retort back. You have not baked anything for me in the past week. He comments, changing the topic. Is he for real? How can he even say this after clearly threatening me to stay away from himself? He seriously needs to consult a doctor at this point because seriously who behaves like this? 1 minute he goes around pushing me away and lecturing me and the next he asks why am I not bringing brownies for him. Are you for real? I ask him in bewilderment. Yes, I am. Come over so you can feel and touch me too. He slowly speaks and for the first time after he called, I sense his voice is not the usual cold one but I sense something else in it. Are you mocking me? I softly ask and he chuckles in return. How can I? So, are you coming over? Why should I? Did you not ask me to stay away from you? I question back, my voice demanding answers. I cannot get the picture of you out of my head ever since I touched you in the elevator. I want to see your begging eyes again, feel your hardened butt and suck on them, this time not over your dress. I want to see them naked. He rasps from the other end, his voice almost a whisper, making my inside twist. I fold my legs trying to provide some friction to my core to stop the sensation. I can't believe he just said all those words right now. And that's when it hit me. Are you drunk? I ask, biting my nails in nervousness. No. He answers immediately and I hear something fall and break. I could clearly sense alcohol in his voice after what he said just now, and it's scaring me now because last time when he was drunk, he was covered in blood. What happened? My voice is now filled with concern as I get up from my seat and start to walk outside the home theater. He inhales a deep breath in before cursing under his breath. Nothing. Stay at your place and don't come here, he warns, his voice holding a threat and concern at the same time as if he wants to protect me from himself. Ekaksh, are you oh? Before I can finish, the line goes dead. I check my phone only to see that he has cut the call. I close my eyes and pinch the bridge of my nose. My nervousness peaks now as my heartbeat increases in concern. God knows what he is doing back there. I want to run out of my penthouse and go to him, but he has warned me not to do so, and disobeying him that too when he is drunk will only get me in trouble. So, I choose to stay back and hope that he stays safe and does not harm himself. Taking a bottle of chilled water, I drink more than half of it and keep it on the dining table near me. After trying to calm my nerves down but failing miserably, I decide to sleep and avoid the thoughts of him. My mind is not working after hearing all those dirty words from his mouth, so the best thing to do right now will be to sleep. I walk to my room and close the door behind me before turning on the air conditioner and tugging myself in the comforter. Closing my eyes, I try to sleep, but his words start echoing in my head and the incident from the morning makes my core clench with need. Fuck you, Ekaksh. You have successfully ruined my life, and the worst of it all, I am going to let you do it as long as you want.